In terms of the big news in the footballing world ahead of the next few weeks, it is of course the European Championships. And Alex, everybody has a tip or a dark horse or a surprise package that they've got a vested interest in. But I just wanted to sort of pick your brain a little bit to see who perhaps had been, interesting you when we've seen the various squad announcements. Is there anybody in particular who you think that might surprise a few people?
Yeah, I think that well, can I be really vague and go for four? Um,
Of course.
yeah, so to exceed expectations, and by that I don't mean do exceptionally well, um, but I would definitely keep an eye on North Macedonia. And I also think Scotland have got a good chance of a good tournament. I think that Scotland have enough quality players. Great to see Billy Gilmore get some minutes in the recent friendly against the Netherlands. There's a press there that is good and energetic. With Che Adams, John McGinn, so they could be all right. North Macedonia have got some great players. Again, a very strong left hand side. I think we'll see a lot of teams being more active in attack down the left than down the right, trying to drag players over to the right hand side or to the defence's right hand side, leave space for players to kind of come in on the opposite side of the ball and attack. The penalty box. I think if you're Scotland and you've got Tierney and Robertson, or if you're North Macedonia and you've got Alioski, if you're England and you've got Shaw or Chilwell and Mason Mount, I think that's going to be a thing that we see a lot of. In terms of teams that I think have a genuine chance of progressing quite a long way, by which I mean quarterfinals, semi-finals, Turkey and Denmark would be the two that I would look at. Denmark are surprisingly high in the ELO rankings. They've had a lot of really good results. There's not a surprising amount of quality in that squad. I think that's pejorative, but there's better players in there than you kind of associate with Scandinavian teams, who are often quite kind of dour and organised and tough to break down, all of those cliches. And to be fair, Finland and Sweden will still definitely give you that. But Denmark have got people like Christian Eriksen, Yusuf Poulsen. They've got Skov. I think they could be right. Turkey, again, lovely team. Ozan Tufan in midfield, I think, is an absolutely class player. If they start Altay in goal, I think he's someone definitely to watch out for. In fact, he's in the upcoming handbook, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah,
Because I wrote his profile.
yeah.
That's how I know. I think look, it's going to still probably be a tournament dominated by exactly who you would expect. But I also think that all of the big teams have got weaknesses of some sort or another, possibly apart from France. So, Germany still look kind of unformed. I think the fact that they've gone back to people like Müller and Hummels indicates that Löw's attempted transition over the last couple of years hasn't really worked out. And there have been some shockingly bad results, especially the 6-0 hammering by Spain. So, the Netherlands look a bit off the pace. Spain, I think, could surprise people. I mean, they've not passed a round of 16 in a major tournament since they won the Euros in 2012, and yet there's a lot of really good players in that squad. And I think that front line of Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, and Morata is going to be dangerous to anybody. If they're quite aggressive and pick Pedri in central midfield as well, you're going to have a lot of pace and a lot of penetration between the lines. So Spain could actually do really well. But it's going to be great. I mean, international tournaments they're just fun, aren't they? They're an opportunity for people to actually look at players who maybe they've heard about, but don't get to see very often. So I don't know, someone like Kulusevski for Sweden, him and Isaac are going to be up front in the absence of Ibrahimovic, and unless you're regularly watching Serie A or La Liga, you're not going to know much about those players beyond they're young and they're quite good. So you get 3 games to watch them in, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the things that everybody does like about international football is that it's essentially where you discover players that you then gain a vested interest in from seeing them do well at an international tournament. And I think as well with the possibility of having supporters in stadiums at various well, some of the venues, I think that's going to add another element to it as well, because I think that is one of the best parts about international tournaments is that a lot of the time you'll have half a stadium decked out in one color and then half the stadium decked out in another, and just as much as patriotism can pervade into other things at times, I think that there is sometimes there is a healthy outpouring of that in international tournaments. And one of my favorite memories of that is when the Irish fans, they all started singing Fields of Athenry at Euro 2008, or might have been 2012. But they were 4-0 down to Spain, final group game. They were already knocked out, and the commentators just stopped speaking, and they just let the Irish fans, half the stadium, sing. And it's incredible to watch, because you just think, this is, the Spanish team are just passing around the Irish. They know that they've only got 5 minutes to play, but the immense spirit from supporters, the passion is just, yeah, it envelops you, I think. And I think that's one of the things that as really really makes me look forward to these tournaments.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just kind of swept away by what you were describing there. It was like during the last Euros, the Icelandic clap
Yeah,
that sped up, and obviously it kind of then became a thing that people were borrowing and stuff, and maybe lost a little of its luster. But the first time I heard it, I was freelancing for a really great company called Livewire at the time. They're based down in West London, and they do a lot of social media content for other people, for kind of rights holders or the competitions themselves. And I watched all the games of that Euros, and the first time I heard the Iceland clap, I was like, "What is going on here? This is kind of terrifying." So yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. It's just great. It's just, and after the year that everyone's had, I absolutely, granted, a lot of people aren't interested in football,
yeah,
and this summer will mean absolutely nothing to them. But for those of us who do like football and have gone through a difficult period, and then also not been able to go and watch our teams in person and so on, this, I hope, will kind of energize people and create a real air of positivity around stuff, which will be